No, you already have an idea what's coming to you because you can see into the unseen. It's
Uh,
just that how much are you going to let it develop before you reach and grab?
right. And there's been a clip I've been meaning to send you that's like me 10 years ago
Uh-huh.
talking about this stuff.
Right, right.
That, like, as you were saying, it's like how long are you gonna wait till the grab? It's been about 10 years, but like I feel like the move to Cali is such a big move. Like, this phase that in Arizona, that cultivation process was here, and but now it's next level in Cali. And
Yeah,
but I
man.
have to move, physically my environment to a place that it can now receive what was cultivated in the desert.
Yeah, and like for me, I'm gonna put it in animal terms. I'm a farmer, so you know what I mean. It's just like you went from the small cage to the big cage, if that makes sense. You developed out of such a small cage. Now your wings have expanded. You need bigger space.
Yeah, that's
You know
it.
what I mean? You're laying eggs now. They're golden.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? They're hatching. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
And
Other
in
things are moving and grooving.
and in that new bigger space, there's other people with their wings.
Exactly.
And that's been a part of the um in that small space. I mean, the wings are growing, but it's just mine. But this next space, I can tell, there's a bunch of others that have them, that it's gonna boost up everyone.
And boosts up everyone. And also at the same time, and I don't know if it's no pun intended, but you also have to learn within that space not to ruffle any feathers.
True. Yeah,
You
and
know what I mean?
definitely.
And because what we don't understand when we do share space in there, there's enough room for everybody.
Uh-huh.
Mind your business.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's
Scratch your ground.
right. And it's another thing of like, we've talked about the collective, and the collective is important, but with the collective comes sometimes, giving my space with these wings. I gotta get my wings out. When
Exactly.
there can be friction amongst that, but that's all part of the figuring out. And that's like the new phase of chisels.
Well, and I think at the same time, that's the stage now to where we got to understand that I got to leave this nest and go get my own,
Uh-huh.
right? Because at certain point in time, that again, you go get your nest because you ready to lay eggs and your eggs are golden, and not that the other chicken don't have golden eggs. That golden eggs just not like your golden egg, right?
Right, right.
And so, and saying all that, we all hatch different. We all are hatching different realities,
Right. Like it
even
all
within.
under one main one, but our little micro realities under the macro.
Hey, there you go, man. You got one big coop, but you
Uh-huh.
got three different flocks.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it gets deep because when you start really intertwining the similarities of nature, the similarities of the spiritual, the similarities of the naturalness in the physical form, you will see that everything's connected. It just changed through language.
Mm-hmm.
Exercise language with FlowDojo is totally different of the exercise language of someone who's just a weightlifter.
Yeah, and when I was doing the workout with Freddie and Carlos, they speak my language. They speak our language.
Right.
Okay, so if you have a day one fighter, never even put his hands up before, and steps up with a trainer that doesn't speak his language, you know, how much slower is his learning process going to be than someone that does speak his language?
Exactly.
And so, like, they're picking up on things way faster because the understanding of how I speak is much clearer to them than it is to other people.
And another aspect of the same token too is also that person receiving also had to become in a childlike manner to be able to understand what you're speaking. Like I have a 5-year-old child right now that understands me as a 55-year-old man because he understands the communication. He
Uh-huh.
because he's a child. He's absorbent. I need to know what you're telling me, father, right? But now you may have somebody who's 55 and the same age as me, 55. I'm trying to tell him something for his own good. And he says, you can't tell me anything.
Uh-huh.
I made it 55 years this way. Who are you to come and tell me what to do now?
Yeah, and a big part of that too is the trust with that person that you're communicating with.
True.
Because then they're going to be a little bit more open to receive.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so building the relationship with people before they even put the gloves on, that I'm not going that I'm not trying to, won't push them past limits or whatever it may be. The trust has been built and established, and now let's train.
Yes.
And that's again, we're trying to get people to learn swiftly.
Right.
We don't want to be like just dawdling around. Like we have goals we want to get quick, and that's going to happen if we're on the same page communication wise.
And communication is the key, and that's the accelerant to the speed.
It's the accelerants. That's a great word, and we're gonna reuse that because um, time doesn't have to just be linear, whether it comes to your training or your work, whatever. Like you can make power moves, as I'm sure you've seen. You can make a power move in one day where whether it's your professional career or your athletic abilities, you feel that jump which may have taken you previously 6 months, but something
Right.
clicks, something happens. And
Right.
we want to keep up in those types.
Exactly. And
And yeah.
and as you say, that change in one day, we all know what the change is. We just don't have the guidance or the mentorship to lead us to the water.
Uh-huh.
We most of us want to drink. We just don't know how to be led.
Uh-huh. But wanting to drink is like a prerequisite to work. Like you have to still want it.
Right. And
Like you
that
still
want
like
and,
I'm not really quite that much of like a motivator to someone that's currently unmotivated.
right.
Like you have to already like have something within you that wants you to get started on this journey.
You have to want to drink.
Yeah, and we talk about
I don't know what it tastes like, but I want to drink it.
yeah, for sure. And like if you go to, I mean, just imagine even both of us, if we just go up into like a random person like at the gas station and say, "Hey, we got the Flow Dojo," I guess like a lot of them still, they um, they wouldn't be
Most
on board right away.
Well, because most people fear what they don't
There's
understand.
like that gap there.
Yeah, because most people fear what they don't understand. So if that
Uh-huh.
communication of language is not understood, they
Uh-huh.
naturally repel.
Right. And there's nothing that we could say the way that we communicate to get them to understand it.
I know because most people have preconceived prejudices before they even speak,
Right.
meaning that they're not even having active listening to even indulge to what I'm saying. Their pre-prejudice is already taking place and is automatically no.
I was just gonna say that exactly. It's they're passively listening, and the automatic associations are just running like a program on a computer.
Man, it is. It's no different from a needle getting put on vinyl and it has that little tick and it can't go no further and just repeat the thing over and over and over again. And it comes to a pattern so much to where that sound becomes so intriguing to you, you don't even move the needle no more. You're okay what it's saying because it's not a disruption,
Right.
but it is a limiter. It is limiting.
It is very limiting, and it's a barrier to um, consciousness. And I one time I heard a quote that says, "The biggest barrier to consciousness is the belief that we already have it."
How simple, right?
So simple, but like that's what people need to get past. Like when we talk
Yes,
about active listening, like I'm passively listening all the time. Like I have those same associations, but like I'm
we
aware,
all do.
yeah, like but I'm aware that like that's what I'm trying to get conscious and get past.
Well, like for me, I'm aware of it, but it just allows me the opportunity to tune in when I want to.
That too.
Right? A lot of people are not aware and don't have the ability to tune in. And if you can't tune in, the language is static, no matter what channel you on.
Yep. Yeah, but that's why the movements are so powerful. Is because
Right,
now it's not only psychological, which you could say is like a more subtle body to our physical body, but when you get the physical switching out of its habitual patterns, that's another thing that it's just um, it's breaking up that mechanicalness because now
right,
you may have been boxing in one style for 10 years, but even it's like we talk about the record. You're just playing that record. Maybe you're throwing your same punches, you're throwing your same combos, but then in comes Flow Dojo where all that's out the window.
right.
Because I mean your technique will still be good, but everything else apart from that, when we put it on time and on tempos, like things are now working differently than they were before.
And not only is working differently in the mind, right? The body now gets to understand what stamina is versus endurance.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And also now getting back to the mind, it gets to understand what routine is based on what actual functionality is.
Yep.
And so when we start understanding these differences, we talk about the acceleration of your learning. It goes smooth up.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. And um, this is stuff that um, it's just so exciting. I just there's nothing else like it. And even if what's funny is like even if Freddie misses this meeting today, it doesn't even matter. Like people can show up or not show up, like it doesn't even matter because our trajectory is the same who's ever coming or not.
Exactly.
It doesn't
And
even.
so that's the whole point what I'm saying right there, right? So like other people on their own routine,
Yeah,
meaning that a lot of people will miss the meeting because they're on routine.
yeah,
They don't know the way.
right.
And not in a bad way.
No,
You just don't know the way.
true.
You still think it's wide.
Deep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the narrow road has always been Flow Dojo and Magical Media.
Uh-huh.
If no one shows, it's still Flow Dojo and Magical Media.
The road's still
That's
there.
that's there.
Yeah.
That's there.
And over this course of this, I'm going to send you that video today because it'll bring all this together. But over that 10 years, do you know how many no-shows I've had? And, like who just didn't show up, or how many I'm trying to pitch people, but there's no communication. But over all this time, one of my mantras was rejection is Jaw's protection.
There you go.
If they're not, that's a sign saying that's not part of it. And so I'm just out here trotting solo narrow road for a decade, but not even caring really who's on the road or not, because my vision's clear.
Clear as it can be.
Yeah, and so it's just, but it's great because it cuts out a lot of that noise and static from the mind.
Right.
And it's okay. Well, how many people all of a sudden, like people don't show up for a meeting or people don't come to class or you lose a client or whatever, and then they get down about it. That doesn't exist for me.
And it shouldn't.
No, it shouldn't for anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't make sense.
Well, most people's trajectory is someone else's appearance or someone else's show. You
Uh-huh.
know, there's a lot of people. Just take a duo single group. One of the guys goes solo and becomes the most popular singer ever. And then you don't hear nothing about the other person. It's not the other person don't have talent. The other person was always based on somebody else's energy.
Uh-huh. Yep. And there's so much
LeBron James. Go ahead.
people are always comparing themselves with other people.
Uh, True.
And you talk like, oh, even if people, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, always comparing. I don't really, compare me or the Flow Dojo with anything.
Well, and I watched Michael Jordan about it was an interview like about 8 years ago. They asked him, what do you think about being considered the greatest player and everybody's trying to, hold that spot? He said, I just love the game of basketball. If you call me the greatest player, that's what you think. He said, I was just being good in basketball.
Right. Yeah, and
And
that's yeah.
that's the heart of the matter right there. He never played to be great. He loved the game. Same with the Flow Dojo, right? Flow Dojo don't have to be great, but you love the way that you exercise and the way you feel. So
Yeah,
if Flow Dojo never went beyond you, you're okay.
right. And it's almost like in a strange way, it's like the more you get rejected and the more you see that other people can't see it, like the more power it gets.
Yeah, because now you're able to tune in to exactly who's tuning in to you.
Uh-huh.
The frequency becomes stronger.
Yup.
The hurts become a chakra initiation.
Yeah.
You're tuned in by frequency. You're not tuned in by hello.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
The
true.
verbal communication is gone. It's the body language at time that does most of the speaking at that time.
Yeah, presence.
Someone's gonna know who you are by the way your body movement attracts them.
Uh-huh. And
You know what I mean? And your body movement is the consistency of what you're doing daily with the Flow Dojo. Not just speaking about it, but you're being about it.
uh-huh. And
That
that's like,
precedes the walk.
yeah. It precedes the walk, and that's like it's being the walkman over the talk man.
There you go.
And
There you go.
what was I gonna say? Um, presence. I don't remember. But yeah, that's where we're at.
Man, I didn't realize I gotta put charge on this laptop. I'm looking, it just went to under 20%. I'm like, damn, I thought I had a charge.
Ah,
Yeah, so
well,
but I haven't been
we
on.
got the charge today.
Yeah, hey man, hey, that's why as soon as you said that, it blinked again red. Like we got the
Uh-huh.
charge today. It was like, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Uh,
But I don't want sometimes it's there's been times where I'm not trying to like um hoard or like you know keep information away from anybody. Like I'm not like hiding anything special. Like it's the one and two and tempo timing are very simple concepts. It's not like I'm like, oh, like this is like hidden or like secret or anything. It's very common, very basic. But it's just that the way that it's uh put out and distributed, it needs to be done a certain way. And
right.
um like I can't fake it or I can't dumb it down. I can't explain it any other way. And it's
Well,
not that I'm hoarding information. It's just that I'm waiting for the right people to come into the circle that can truly understand.
it's a rhythm and flow.
Yeah.
You won't be able to explain it because it's a rhythm and flow. Right now, you know what I mean? It's just moving, but then the rhythm gets to going, and you might have 300 people overnight.
Right, right. And like the just from the new energy of even just the thought of moving to Cali, like these things that are coming into my uh mind of how to reach people fast because there's things that I see here. I go to my gym. It's like there's some rowing machines there. It's like I could do that. I could do that. Like a way to get people as like new clients and stuff. But I was like, let's just hold off and but these are the ideas that are starting to come. So when I do land in Cali, it can hit the ground running because I will
Well,
need.
I think you already got a wheelbarrow in Cali because you got Lane here, you have Lester here, you have Freddie here, and these are the people that you already work with. So they are talking to people. Don't think they're not. You
Yes.
know what I mean? And they don't have to come and say a word like again on here. But the proof is always in the pudding.
Yep.
They got a taste of it already.
And a lot of times that's all they need. And I was thinking about Lane a couple of days ago because even though, like, yeah, he may be seeing, oh, Brian's working with some like new artists or like the circle's growing. He's still one of the originals.
Yeah,
Like that
exactly.
doesn't he doesn't lose his value as in the circle or as an ambassador or anything because other artists are coming in. If anything, it only boosts his value.
He boosts his value up
Yep.
because he's the founding.
For real. And we want in maybe 3 to 5 years, he wears that as, like a badge that he's proud of.
Exactly.
And so when he sees the other people coming in, he's not competing with them either, but he's just basically welcoming them in.
Right. To the FlowDojo intensive.
Uh-huh.
You
Yep.
know. So
Yeah, and also like that May 16th, that too, like I'm gonna have uh sign up sheets. I'm going to get names, numbers, people to stay in contact with. Like
are
that is,
are you are you interested in a Zoom podcast?
yep.
You know
Um,
what I mean? Become a become a part of the conversation.
yep. And then like, something like that and have like three different options for them. Like, or you just want to be on the mailing list. We can start small and then you have like maybe three or four, maybe five options on how do you want to get involved. Maybe you just want like a weekly stretching session over Zoom. We can do that. Maybe you want to do something at the Magical Media House. We can do that. But like, just there's these. We're flexible and versatile on
There you go.
how to get people to get involved.
Right. I agree. And honestly, I think it's already in motion.
Agree with that.
That goes back to what I was saying earlier. I'm grateful because I know the things that has been unseen to me that I want are coming.
Yeah, they have to.
You know what I mean? And so what you just said reiterated that process of thinking
Hmm.
that I'm grateful because I know the unseen and what I've been wanting is coming.
Yeah,
I'm grateful for that.
yeah. And I'm patient while it does.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
And and become thankful because I get to see glimmers of things a part of it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You
And
know,
the glimmers is all you need. Like
exactly.
the glimmers are like the checkpoints.
Exactly.
Okay, boom, got it. Continue. Glimmer, continue.
That's it.
Yeah.
Is that and sometimes they may take you 3 or 4 blocks off course, but when you realize you was like it was a shortcut.
Yep.
It
Yep.
looked far because you went so far in, but it was a shortcut.
Yeah. And talking about the whole Ventura thing, because I'm having dinner with my parents in I think Thursday night, and I'm gonna
Uh,
talk to them about it. But all of a sudden, all these other little things, like I forgot, I have an uncle that lives in Ventura and has an avocado farm.
what?
Yes, and my sister reminded me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Uncle Tim, I forgot about that." And he's got an avocado farm out there, so it was like, and his wife just passed, and his daughter went off to college, so I'm sure he has extra space. And I was like, I may be able to live for cheap in his house,
Perfectly.
right? Like a complete idea. But what did that do? I didn't even think of it. It came to me.
Uh, the unseen.
The unseen, yeah. And like my sister had to remind me, but when she told me, I'm like, there we go again. Like it's like these things are continually so all I'm just riding the wave.
Well, all you have to be know if you're grateful, those unseen things are coming to you.
Right. That's very,
And
very true. And
they come to you in the way of people, come to you in the way of a song, a commercial, a, a sign driving, a
yeah,
bumper sticker.
but yeah,
It
but it
comes.
they come into the awareness to see that there they are.
And there
You know,
they
and
are, right in
how
front of you.
also how many am I just missing all day? Like there's many that are going past I'm just not seeing. And that
Right.
goes back to a lot of like just the
Well,
unconsciousness.
and I was just about to say it goes back to what we were saying earlier.
Yeah, yeah, it does.
You know what I mean? I'm listening, but that got now this got my attention though.
Right.
Same thing with the signs. They're there all day. But this one
Yep.
is talking to me.
And there are some that are just so blatant and undeniable that you have to
Well,
take it.
my take on it is if you can recognize the subtle ones, the bigger the vision you get to see. If it has to be blatant, you just took a small step.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's how I look at it. If I got to put it right in your face, there's more for you to go to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But if you can get it if you can see it on the horizon,
Uh-huh.
oh man, it's so much you're gonna get.
Yeah, and back to that the dinner with my parents. And like what a lot of times, whether it's generational or cultural or whatever, like my parents are gonna say right off the bat, well, how are you gonna make any money? Like you're gonna move to California,
It's,
where you getting the money? You know,
exactly.
but and it again, it may just be a parental point of view, but I'm saying I'm not worried about that. Like that comes later. The signs are the priority. You follow the signs and the money follows. But they always like to put the money financial first and then you do something. No, you do something and then the financials.
Well, but do you see the programming of most people?
It is. And and based on and I'm not it's just their mindset. And I can't break it. I can just explain it. It's not really how my mindset works.
Well, it was based on an old model of success.
Uh-huh.
You were told to work hard, save money, buy a home, have kids, and you're happy.
Uh-huh. And you're
That's an
done.
old model of success.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
The new money of it is I don't want to work. I want to have the freedom to choose what I want to do. And I figure that out as I go.
Right. And if you're doing what you have the freedom to choose to do, your energy while you do it will attract others. It'll become magnetic.
That's your sign.
Uh-huh.
Those are your
Those
signs.
are the signs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in that first, I think it's like the first line of that song, Justice, on the Temperance album that was just released. I don't know if
Uh-huh.
you heard that at all.
I think I have, but don't. I'm not
All right.
familiar.
The first line, it says, the universe is guided by eternal law, unchangeable pattern like the lion's paw.
Like the lion's paw.
And like
Right.
these, even like what we're speaking on now, like these are the laws that we have to study,
Yeah,
and
'cause they govern us.
they govern us exactly.
Right.
And that right there is such a powerful statement. The laws govern us, and we need to adjust and act accordingly,
Or you will be punished
or you'll be punished. Right?
swiftly.
Yes. And it's we gotta even just discuss and be aware of these laws that exist. If we follow them, we're rewarded, and if we transgress, we're punished.
And sometimes our blessings last longer than our transgressions, and sometimes our transgressions outlast the blessing.
True that. True that.
So depending on where you at.
Yep.
So yeah, man. Well, look, don't what time is it?
10:30.
Doesn't it look like Freddie ain't coming?
Uh-huh.
Let me, because I do got to make an errand real fast.
All right.
And because my cousin came over here and he's coming to help me. I thought it was for yesterday. I mean for tomorrow, but he's actually over here today. And so I'm not gonna hold him up too longer. I'm gonna run up here and go get this stuff so I can bring him back to the house while I got him.
Got you. That was a quick, high-powered round.
Yeah, man. High power round. No, those are, we gotta remember titles like that because we can always put things up under that high power round. You know what I mean?
I'll load it up right. I'm not even going to edit that. I'm just going to post it high-powered round.
There you go.
All right. But
All
we'll
right.
connect on text and we'll see if we can reschedule someone or just get someone else.
All right. Either
All right.
or all the above.
Through that too. All right.
Let's go with all the above.
I'm down with it.
All right.
All right.
All right, man. I'll holler at you later.
Bless.
Yes, sir.